Some of you know that in return for donations by some of our members, local public radio stations broadcast a brief message promoting our fellowship. Maybe you've heard it. It describes us as a religious community seeking a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world and supporting a search for truth and meaning. This statement acknowledges our Unitarian Universalist assertions that A, truth can be elusive, B, that it is worth seeking, and C, that seeking might require ongoing support. And here we are to provide that support. Clearly, we Unitarian Universalists value truth. I'd like to invite us to take a few minutes to answer two questions. If it helps to close your eyes, fine. The first is, what is one thing you know is true? One thing you know is true.
I'm alive.
Okay, hold that thought. When you know what that one thing is, you know is true, then ask yourself, how do you know it's true? How do you know that one thing is true? And now for the fun, uncomfortable part. Turn to someone near you and share with them what you know is true and how you know it's true. And we'll take just a few minutes. Be sure to give each other time, and I'll ring the chime to bring us back. Folks on Zoom, go ahead and type yours into the chat.
She picked a good one. Shannon's good.
Very good.
Shannon knows how to do people.
Does anyone need more time? Thank you for indulging me in that exercise. Let's report out a little bit. Just shout out anything that any of you learned that either you know or someone you spoke with knows as true. What is true?
Birth and death.
Sorry?
Birth and death.
Birth and death are true. And how do you know? Because it happens to everybody. What else? 1 plus 1 equals 2. How do you know?
It's a definition.
It's a definition. It's math.
I had to prove it.
Okay, great. Great. Change is inevitable, and how do you know?
Because we've seen it over and over again.
We see it over and over again, yeah.
I think, therefore I exist.
I think, therefore I exist. Do I need to ask how you know?
I exist because I know I think.
Okay. The philosopher, of course. Right. The grass appears green to you. And there's no way to know that other than senses, right? Your senses tell you that. But you believe it, yeah. I love my husband. How do you know you love your husband? I feel it and create it every day. Next. My wife loves me. Hopefully, same deal. Yes. Taxes are real. How do we know? Because we're paying them all the time. We have roads. Right. Anything else? What do? Plants come back every spring. How do you know? Because you've experienced more than one. This church and congregation will accept everyone. How do you know that?
Because Rob Maxwell was a good friend of mine. We worked together, and he came to church here, and then when he came back to work, he said, they didn't care I was gay.
Because a friend of hers came and we didn't care that they were gay. Yeah. All right, let's see. I think I have a few online. My truth, I have a wonderful family. I know I breathe. I sense it and I know it's necessary for life. I think the family, yes, wonderful family. We know they're a loving family because they show up and support and love each other and have fun together, grieve together, live life together, and share their life experiences. Another is, I know I love my children. How do we know love? Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Well, thank you. So, I appreciate that. I invite you to continue the conversation after the service, right? So, we've identified some things that are true. So, what is truth? T-R-U-T-H. How do we define it? Truth. What's our philosopher say? What do our poets say? Things that are provable. Things that can be repeatedly proven. I think you're onto something.
Things that hang together with the rest of your worldview.
Things that hang together with the rest of your worldview. Yeah. Coherent. Yeah. Great. How about this? Truth is a statement, belief, or condition that accurately reflects reality or fact. It's a statement or belief or condition that accurately reflects reality or fact. Yeah. How do you know reality?
I mean, that just says the truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth. Just believe it, right? Yeah. One of my college professors turned down a term paper proposal from me on the subject of perspective. It was my undergraduate degree, right? He said it was far too broad and complex a topic to address in a single assignment. And I'm feeling the same about this topic, right? Truth, I can't possibly address its depth and complexity in a 20-minute sermon, but I'll give it a try. So let's begin by acknowledging that truth is complex. Truth, like Mother's Day, is complex. Facts are facts, right? Aren't they? But our statements, beliefs, or conditions about reality and fact can be shaped by our own subjectivity and perspective, our experiences, our culture, our narratives. Like the four sons in today's service, right? Each had a unique view of the tree at different seasons. Our humanity forces us to understand that we are conscious only of a sliver of reality, here and now, and maybe of what we've learned from others. Truth can be made complex by several things. One is that truth might include contradictory but equally valid aspects. Historical or contemporary figures can be both heroic and deeply flawed. Movement-inspiring icons like Kennedy or King, for example, who we later learn have been unfaithful to their spouses. I contain multitudes, wrote the poet Walt Whitman. Truth is complex too because human knowledge evolves and keeps growing over time. Truth can be elusive, like a goalpost, ever shifting as new discoveries are made or questions arise. Now we know that Roundup and saccharin can be carcinogenic, but we didn't know that way back when. Unitarian theologian Henry Nelson Wyman once characterized this as one of 5 sacred stones of religious liberalism, that revelation is not sealed, that we always and forever are learning new truths. Then there is mistruth, altered truth, misstated truth, outright lying, and BS, which, as Tim described to me, poisons the human mind with doubt when there really should be none. Lying liars who lie have done so much damage to cultures, people, and relationships throughout history and around the world. And we happen to live in a time, lucky us, and a political climate in which many people reject, say, the scientific method and evidence-based policies and practices. Instead, they invent alternative facts, label mainstream media fake news, and attack long-standing principles, authorities, and institutions in every way possible. Truth can also be made complex by our own or others' evasion, by withholding or by distorting simple facts, and doing so to avoid discomfort. Did you eat my cookie? Which cookie do you mean? Did you eat my cookie? How can you possibly think about a cookie at a time like this when people around the world are starving? Evasion. Now, I can't imagine there's anyone among us who has not withheld the full truth, or at least told one little white lie. Why is that? Why do we not always tell the truth? Well, it could be out of greed. It could be out of fear. Most likely, I think it's because of our own discomfort with the truth, or our unwillingness to make someone else uncomfortable. Maybe it's not the best time to share that truth. Or maybe we value a relationship more than we value being right. And when we suspect that someone is lying to us, how do we handle it? Does it depend on the closeness or value of that relationship? Do we respond differently if our own child tells a lie? Does it depend on their age? Or what if a stranger on the street lies to us? Or a politician holding great power over millions of people? We deal with them differently, don't we? So the truth is complex for many, many reasons. Now, I might be mistaken, but I assume that each of us in this space strives for a certain level, some people notwithstanding, of maturity and wisdom. To my mind, becoming mature and wise means developing the capacity to embrace the complexities of truth, and doing that with humility, through critical thinking, by holding in tension multiple, sometimes contradictory perspectives at the same time. Wisdom and maturity. As Tim and I met to flesh out these ideas, it became clear that a primary goal for today was to consider how we might help our young people discern truth and develop wisdom and maturity. And I see we have a few in the room. I'm glad you stayed. If I say anything you don't agree with, I hope you'll tell me. I have many ideas to share with you, gleaned from many sources. You probably have your own ideas. And I invite you to take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And maybe talk more about it during coffee. First of all, with parents' permission, get to know a young person. How many young people do you regularly have conversations with? Regularly. Every Sunday, does that count? We are working here at this fellowship on ways to integrate the generations. So I hope you will take opportunities to build relationships with and develop trust with our young people. Hear our young people's stories and questions and struggles. Empathize with them. Would you like that? Tie their life experiences to your own. 2, I often say that our children are watching. Clearly, they're watching. So know thyself. Share with our younger folks your experiences, your stories, especially your mistakes and the lessons you learned. Model for them your humanity and your best self. Demonstrate how you analyze options and make decisions based not on impulses, but on principles. Show them how to vote. Bring them to the annual meeting in October. Explain to them why the congregation votes on certain things. And show young people how you support organizations that respect and defend principles that are important to you, like due process, freedom of speech, and bodily autonomy. Right? 4, help young people filter and evaluate the messages they receive about their bodies, about their rights, about the opportunities available to them. Help them protect themselves from con artists by testing these messages with critical thinking skills and measuring them against their own values. 5, teach young folks how you maintain consistent, reliable standards of speech and conduct, if those exist. Right? Maybe not in all times and places. I've been known to level a few F-bombs here and there. But what is your North Star? Discuss with them, for example, the values and principles of Unitarian Universalism, why those are important to you, and how you try to live those values every day, because I hope you do. 6, encourage mindful and clear communication. Train them to ask Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it timely? And 7, help them understand, as we do in our faith formation program, the many, many perspectives around the world on questions about truth and life and right and wrong. Diversity is a beautiful thing. That's all. Easy peasy, right? So, I hear some of you saying in your head, but Reverend Eric, isn't this a parent's work to do? And my answer is straight out of the Improv Handbook. Yes, and many parents begin attending faith communities such as ours because they're looking for help in rearing their children in some kind of community or ethical framework. My wife and I did this. Is there anybody else who's done this? Yes. We do it all the time. And if parents would rather do that teaching by themselves, they will let you know. The least we can do is offer support. There's a relationship between truth and trust. Is there not? How many parents, when confronting a child about lying, have said something like, "If you don't tell me the truth, how do I know I can trust you?" Well, this could apply to any conversation with anyone. If Tim is correct in that lying poisons the mind with doubt, would it be fair to say that truth-telling allows for greater clarity, or at least a measure of trust? Because stable relationships are built on a foundation of trust, are they not? And trust requires reliably being told the truth. Some things obviously are true even when they are outside of our immediate awareness. We still trust that certain conditions and relationships exist. We trust, for example, in the intangible but very real proven forces reflected in physics and chemistry and math. We know that certain conditions are necessary to grow food and beauty and even life itself. We know that vaccines will prevent illness and that gravity will hold us to the earth. These truths allow us at least to trust in the natural world. Unitarian Universalists have come to trust several sources of moral authority. They're in your gray hymnal, but I won't ask you to open it up. Our sources, right? We trust in our direct lived experiences. We trust the words and deeds of prophets who've gone before us. We trust in the spiritual and ethical teachings from wisdom traditions and philosophies around the world, like the Judeo-Christian teaching about love. We trust in humanistic teachings on reason and science. We trust in earth-centered teachings about living in harmony with nature. And I would add, we trust in literature and the arts as expressions of our humanity. We also trust in some shared values, right? I talk about this all the time. Are you tired of hearing me talk about values? Okay. Well, let's review, shall we? One is transformation. Two is equity. Three is pluralism. Four is justice. 5 is generosity. 6 is love. And 7 is interdependence. Today's wisdom story invited us to explore pluralism and to embrace both our differences and our commonalities with curiosity, respect, and love. The story invites us to understand our inherently limited perspective and the foolishness of trying to make wise and fair judgments based solely on that. It also taught that we are inherently interdependent, relying on one another for a fuller, wider, deeper understanding of life. Our gathering song invited us to trust in love to guide us through our struggles. Our prayer reminded us, our blessing this morning reminded us that we need not feel isolated or insecure, but instead might trust that we are held and beloved. And our reading reminded us, as we are out on the adventures of life, encountering others' paths, stories, and beliefs, and come to better understand them, we gain new insights that serve to open us, to transform us, and to lead us onward. But you know that feeling. You know the feeling of comfort of returning home after a really, really long day, or week, or month. The Reverend Baumberger also suggested that to link the word love with seeking and with truth calls us inevitably to accept and to encourage one another on different journeys, to create a sense of spiritual homecoming for one another. And it just makes sense that believing that it's all right comes more easily, doesn't it, when we feel beloved and welcomed and held in just these ways. Yes, truth is complicated. It can be elusive. It can be twisted, omitted, and interpreted in many ways. And yet, here we are, Unitarian Universalists, guided by love, still committed to helping one another find truth, embrace it, and share it. And in so doing, we might welcome one another home to a greater sense of connection and possibility, and perhaps purpose. If there's one thing that I know, and some of you mentioned this, it is the enduring, transforming power of love. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Scriptures and symphonies and screenplays have been written about it. Let's get ready. Because the soul train or the love train, or whatever you want to call it, is coming. May our minds remain curious about different perspectives. May our hearts be open to how new perspectives might expand our own. May the light of truth illumine our minds. May the spark of love set our hearts on fire. And may the flame of freedom burn brightly within us, today and forevermore. Blessed be, and amen.